Check one, check two. Oh, God. There we go. Pilot the co-pilot. Brother. Let's do this. Hi, and thanks for tuning in. This is the Learn with John Eick podcast, and it is day 70-something on my 180-day drive to school. Yeah, man, we're in the mid 70s. We're gonna hit the 80 mark, and that's gonna be like not halfway, but when we hit the 90 mark, that's it. We're halfway done with the school year. What a trip, man. I'm gonna go back and listen to this podcast. Hey, can I be honest? I have actually gone back and listened to a few of my podcasts, because I want to hear what I said. It's always embarrassing. Do you ever do this? I don't know if you do this. I don't know if you podcast or record yourself, giving a presentation or something. Even on the days where you're like, oh, I nailed it. You go and you watch it, you're like, ugh, that's kind of cringy. It's a thing. You're like, anyway, everyone's their own worst critic. That's not the point. What I was saying was, I go back and I look at some of the things that I've even talked about on the podcast that I totally believe, 100%. I'm like, oh, I am all in on this topic, on how to make an organizational culture, just a bitchin' place where you want to work and stay. And I go, yeah, I believe it's true, but I screw it up all the time. So I'm gonna riff today, I think, on this thing I got out of the Culture Code by Daniel Goyle. I'm almost done with the book, so I'll stop talking about it. But I'm gonna riff on this idea. But as I riff on it, I'm like, oh, dude, I know it's rad, and maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, when I use it slams. It slays. The high school kids taught me that word. It slays. But in reality, man, all this stuff, as an ed leader, I blow this crap all the time. I think I fail more than I succeed, but I try really hard, I swear. So some of it's hopefully working. So right now we're in this riff on how to make an organizational culture a place where, you want people to want to work. You know what I mean? We all got decisions in life, and it's not always just about compensation. If it was just dollars, you'd go work for some really crappy place and be like, well, at least it pays well, but I'm miserable. So what makes people not miserable and want to be part of an organization? So, I was reading this book, and it's talking about does your organization make decisions that are predictable? And we've talked about predictability a lot of times in the area of making school predictable for kids, so the kids suffering from trauma or adverse childhood experiences, the kids do well during predictable conditions. When things are unpredictable, then amygdala's fire, emotions escalate, things like that. But does your organization make decisions in a manner that is predictable? Could most people in your organization or some groups of people say, hey man, I wonder how we're going to solve for X? And everybody in the room goes, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to go down this way. Because that's kind of how we do things. If your organization does that, I think it's really good for culture, because then I think what happens is you have a value set that's understood, right? If every time it's funny, I talk about the staff room. I riffed on Monday. This is so embarrassing. I riffed on Monday. Today's Wednesday. Today's Thursday. On Monday, though, I riffed on staff room culture and how I'm really proud of that. I think I work with amazing people. And then on Monday, I walked into just super randomly. I was just wandering. I walked into a lunchroom and sat for the entire time and just laughed my butt off and had so much fun. It was really funny because in the morning, on my way to work, I was riffing on staff room culture and how people treat one another, and then I went into a staff room and it was so bitchin'. I'm just so happy to work in a place where you walk into a staff room and people are like, hey man, you want to cut it up? Let's talk, let's laugh, let's have some fun. Not what I was talking about, but what if you're in the staff room and someone's like, gosh, you know what? I wonder if we could ask, the school to provide more supplies for this unit we're developing. And then everyone in the staff room, if they could all say, I think I know how that question's going to be answered, and it's X, then I think even if the answer is no, which kind of sucks, but even if the answer is no, but everybody understands the process to which we arrived at no, not just oh, they're going to say no because they are they and we are we, and it's we versus they and they suck and we don't, not not arrive at the same answer that way, but like, hey, you know what? Whenever topics like this come up, typically here's kind of the decision matrix, and this is how we typically seem to see things fall out, or the process by which things get approved or denied. I think there's a process. I think if we ask this question, the process is going to be kind of a similar process, and I think the answer is going to be, yes or no. I think that's really good for an organization, and I think if you're trying to make an organizational culture that makes people want to feel heard, seen, safe, people who want to be there, who don't want to leave, I think that's part of the deal, is having a set of values, or maybe it's even just decision-making matrices that everybody kind of gets and understands. Now, again, I open the podcast by saying, oh man, I think I stink at some of this stuff. Like, I really I hope that's part of the culture of my organization, but I wonder, Anyway, look, I'm about to pull into the high school right now, which is, I love the high school. And we have coffee talk today, which I have a cup of coffee right here, so I'm already geared up and ready to go. And, I'm going to get a chance to talk with parents. We got some other leaders there. Some, the principals will be there. I just love this opportunity. It's such a bitchin' deal. So I'm pulling the high school right now. And as I do, I'm going to kind of look around today and be like, do we have predictability based on our values? Are there like agreed upon values that what would a value be, right? Like, hey, obviously if it's supplies that are needed for student learning, check. Or if it's like, hey, obviously this person's got this really good opportunity at professional growth, and all we need is, some reasonable amount of funding, duh, check. Why? Well, because we value, student experience at our school. I think a lot of what we put our energy into is making the experience legit. Okay, I think if that's a shared value and a shared understanding, then we're all going to probably go, yeah, that's predictable. Same deal. I think we really value professional growth, professional development, growing as colleagues. Okay, check if that's our jam. Yeah, I think there's a thing here, man. All right, I'm pulling into the high school. Hey, thanks out there. I'm digging you guys. I've been doing this now for 70-something days. I got some people on the Voxers and the TikToks, the Twitters, the hearts, the likes, the shout-outs, the love. Hey, thanks. Spread the news, man. Let people know, if there's any value to this thing, that they should check it out, because I love the community that kind of develops around, the cadence of this conversation. All right, my name is John Eick. You can find me on the Twitters at John_Eick. We'll catch you next time.